Good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you may be, or good evening, or good night. This is Jen at Jen's Arty Inclinations, a place to create, share, and play. I made a thing! So much fun. Wow! Yes, I was excited with how well this turned out. This is like one of those concertina expanding files, but this is an expanding pocket and it sits in its own signature in my junk journal. I'm really excited with how it turned out and I'd like to show you very quickly through my process. Yeah, there I am again. You can see I'm in shock that I actually managed to do something. Here, I'm just showing you it's got little concertina folds on either side of a plain sheet of cardstock. I'm just trying to measure the middle so that I can do a little cutout for the front pocket of it. So one side of the signature is going to have the pocket attached and the other side of the signature is going to be its own little front slip pocket. I don't know. Hopefully it'll make sense as we go through. Who knows? Alrighty. It took me so long to kind of work out in my head, but I just worked it all out as I went along. I had no idea how I was going to close it at this stage. I just trusted and thought that it'll all work out eventually. I worked out a way not to measure. It probably took me longer, but I just used my mat to cut the angle so that it was the same on both sides. It was across one of those squares. I'm pointing at the screen, which is really funny because you can't see that, of course. So I knew that it was roughly that wide, how I wanted it. And here I just wanted to score folds on the closing flap. Blah, I can't speak. I'm so excited about this little one. So that it could fold if it was fully stuffed, but then still fold nicely. You know how file folders have those extra folds? I was sort of thinking of that in the back of my head. So I looked at that and I went, yeah, I think that's going to work. We'll see how we go. Nothing rocket science here. Do you know though, I cut out so much footage here. I must have folded and refolded and scored and folded and scored and folded these so many times. So I think that's actually why I ended up with the extra fold lines, maybe. No, it truly, promise, it really was a design choice. It really, really was. And I just wanted to make sure it kind of all fell over nicely. There was a little bit of method, but not a lot. I ended up having a bit of a closer look to see if it would work. I finally worked out my closure. I decided on split pins through some circles so that you could do those strings like you get or like you used to get on those beautiful old interoffice envelopes where you had this string tying them up. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Here I'm making my little holes with my awl just to help push that split pin through cleanly so that it doesn't make extra tears. I am just guessing the center here. You know that I like to guess, but it's nice if it's off center a little bit. You get a bit of extra character to your final product. So once I measured the center, I then managed to work out where to put those little circles, and it came together from here really, really quickly. The hardest part was just working out at the beginning how to do those little concertina folds and if that would work as the pocket opening and so forth. So as I always do, I inked around the edges on everything because nothing I do is perfect. So therefore it just allows the imperfect to look like it was meant to be like that. I think that's why I like the aged vintage look, rather like myself, aged and vintage. But yeah, I like the character, I like the look, I like the feel. Here, I'm tapping the corner edges. I don't want the corners on that front pocket to be really sharp. I wanted them to just be a little bit softer. So you'll see just more inking and it looks a bit grotty here, but once you put it all together, it actually works better. Now, the brad pins I actually used here, you really can't see them in the video, I'm sorry, but they are actually tiny little hole punches from autumn leaves last year that were yellow And even though it's just such a tiny, tiny hint, and then I Mod Podged over them to put them onto the top of the split pins. So it's really cute. It's something that was a memory of autumn at our house, and they turned out really, really cute. Now on the back of the split pins, I just want to cover it so that it doesn't catch any papers. Totally not necessary. I overglued these way more than what I needed, but I really wanted them to stay put and to never have to be seen again. Hopefully that will be the case, and this will last for years and years, and you know, when I'm gone, someone will look through and look in wonder at what on earth was going through my head. All right, so of course I have filmed the second one that I'm sticking down because, you know, the first one just wasn't riveting enough. You are literally watching glue dry, paint dry, glue dry. Get it? It's sort of a play on word. Okay. Now, I used the tape roller simply so that I could work out a way to position this. I kept on having lots of trouble to getting this in. You'll see in a moment, I actually found a really obvious quick way to put this in, but this helped me position it and get it all ready and lined up and making sure that it was working, and so then I could see it attached, take my hands away, see if it worked, and then I could attach it with glue. That was my theory. But yeah, look at how I finally worked out how to do this. So fold that sheet down and, oh, sorry, you actually have to watch more gluing because there just wasn't enough gluing in this. I always get those strings. Does anyone else get all those strings when you use this kind of glue? I find it so frustrating. But anyway, you know, small problems. It's wonderful to have a good strong glue for something like this. So, you know, I'm not complaining. Not complaining, I promise. Alrighty, now here, see, I just hold out the edges, fold it down. No, I don't know. Rewind the video, go and have a look. You'll see what I mean, how easily I worked out how to stick that down in the end. And it was much, much less faffing about. Now, I must have bone folded these down 1,000 times. I think I even used several different bone folders as I was going through, but I really wanted it to work, and I'm really glad that I did, because that really did help make this work. So all I'm doing here is just finishing off. I thought this little front pocket on the front of the other pocket, you know, you got the expanding pocket and then you got a little flat pocket. I just thought it looked nice. It looks like I'd actually designed the signature that way, but I really didn't. I just thought I'd do something 3D because I made a mistake when I was counting my holes for my signatures that I was putting in, and I put in too many holes in the spine and I hadn't created that many signatures. So I'd only done 5 signatures and I punched 7 holes. And so then these front 2 pockets, I thought, well, I'll do something 3D. So this is what I'm doing with one of them. I may do the same with the other, or I may come up with something else. Anyway, I'm just measuring the string. I thought, I don't know, about 3 times. Quickly looped a clove hitch that I could tighten up over that. And then I really tightened it really, really hard because that was on metal, so I could get a good strong hold on that. I found a little owl charm, so I tied that on, you know, cut off the end of the other string, all very logical from here. But I like having a little something on the end of these, even if it's just a knot, because it helps you tie them around, you know, backwards and forwards. From my mum and my macrame days, I always add just the tiniest touch of glue. You don't even need a big blob to the end of any string because it helps keep them over time. So thank you. I hope you really enjoyed that. Please, there I am again. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed what you saw, and I'll see you again next time. Bye. Keep creating.